Escaping the activity trap in your writing, you contrast frenzied work with a more leveraged approach. Could there be value in the busy, hands-on tasks you advise cutting back on? What advantages might unscalable manual work offer early-stage consultants or coaches?
When I first started on LinkedIn for those first 6 months, the biggest challenge that founders face is more what to work on. Because you're right, doing things manually in the right way will still give you a result. But the way in which people sort of cover advice on LinkedIn, you see these influencers with 100, 200,000, 300,000 followers, all chatting some bollocks about, hey, you've got to spend 2 hours a day, commenting. Then you've got to send 15 connection messages. Then you've got to send introductory messages to those people. Oh yeah, and don't forget to post every single day and make sure that you've got a carousel and make sure that all of these things, for somebody who's just started, it is very hard for somebody to differentiate what actually is going to get them a result and what actually is just dressing. And that is what I call the activity trap in my writing, because a lot of the time experts get stuck not knowing which of those tasks is actually going to move the needle. So yes, you can do some of those things manually, but why would you if you could have an idea of what to work on? And then once you know what to work on, you can then double down using technology to leverage yourself to scale your impact so you can do more with the time that you have. For example, I had this conversation with a client of mine recently. She was super skeptical before she worked with us. Her name was Joya Das. She's a consultant. She runs a leadership company. And before she'd work with us, she had said to me hey, look, I'm in my DMs every day on LinkedIn, I'm booking meetings. And she just didn't think that, technology could actually take her in that right direction to get more towards the results of what she wanted. She thought manual was the only way, tying back to your question. But what she found was it was just stopping her from scaling. She was capped out at about $150,000 a year in income, and she was spending all of her time in the LinkedIn DMs, just feeling that that's what she should do because that's all anybody else on LinkedIn had ever said. And the only way for her to get out of that was for her to hire a sales rep in her mind. But as a consultant doing $150,000 a year, hiring a salesperson for an additional, let's say they're in the US and it's $2 to $3K a month, or if there's somebody maybe overseas and it's $800, it's still adding and eroding to her profit margins. So what she found when she came and worked with Atticus is we really pinpointed what was the part of her mechanism that should be handled by her manually, that 20% that would drive 80% of her results, and what was the part that she could actually hand off and have technology do that. So for her and others that I've worked with and we've worked with, we basically defined that at the top of the funnel, when you're sending messages on LinkedIn, when you're actually trying to get in front of those people, a simple personalization like something on their LinkedIn profile or maybe some level of intent that they might have to potentially work with you. So if you were to do that one-line personalization on a person-by-person basis, you would literally be stuck living your life on LinkedIn. And the only alternative for Joya in that moment was to do it manually, and which was pitch slapping, and that wasn't scaling. She was capped out about 5 to 10 meetings per month. So what we were able to do is we were able to place an AI outbound system into a business that allowed her to personalize and automate the entirety of that top of funnel messaging, those 1,200 messages that were going out to her first connections, second connections, third connections, emails, completely automated, but in her voice and in her tone. And what actually was the impact of that? She went from booking 5 to 10 meetings to now this month, she scaled to booking 30 sales qualified opportunities. And in the last 90 days, she closed over $200,000 of business and spent less time in her DMs. She went from spending 2 hours a day in her DMs to now she has a trained setter that we placed in her account who runs the system in inbox as her and now does that in 15 minutes per day. So yeah, you can do things manually, but should you?